And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. You're tuned in to Tapped Out. Hosted by Brendan Tobin and Sean Levine. Only on the BetQL Network.
Hello and welcome into Tapped Out with my producer Jake Noecker and co-host Brendan Tobin. I'm the sports machine Sean Levine, and obviously, as fight fans, we're all looking forward to UFC 300 in Las Vegas coming up in April. But I got to be honest with you, brother. On Saturday night, UFC 299 in your backyard down in Miami, I think the card might actually be a little bit better. I mean, I've argued that Sean O'Malley is the biggest superstar in the game, and I don't know if anybody's told you, BT, he's fighting in the main event, minus 275, taking on Marlon Chito Vera. Chito Vera is actually going to join us coming up later on in the show to talk about the fight. This is the one we've been waiting for. It's a rematch. Your early thoughts on O'Malley, Chito Vera 2 in Miami?
Man, it is so exciting, this matchup, because, I mean, both of these guys are such dangerous strikers. You know, Sugar Sean, obviously thrilling to finally get to the top after dealing with a lot of doubters, some haters that he's even called out on Twitter. He's dealt with all that noise, and he was able to climb all the way to the top, and now gets to have his first title defense in a fun market. You know, he's going to be wearing the pink kit, the first guy to wear a pink kit in the octagon, doing it for a championship fight. He's gone full Miami Vice. And then you have Chito on the other side, who's got a win over him. Yes, a win with a little bit of an asterisk because of, you know, Sean's leg not feeling right, but he got the win. And, you know, he got pulled off of Sean O'Malley. It was not, you know, it was not like any funky thing where Sean O'Malley tapped out via injury or anything like that. So he's got the win. He's got the confidence. Haven't loved the way he's looked in some of these fights as of late, Chito. So my early lean would be like, I understand why Sean is the favorite, but I do think that there is some value in Chito. I still think it's possible for him to get the win.
Heavy favorite. So O'Malley started off at closer to minus 200, worked its way to minus 250. As we speak right now, doing Tapped Out, minus 275. By the time they make the walk, a lot of money's going to be coming in on O'Malley. So it might be that he's a 3-1 favorite. You look at some of the fights that O'Malley's had where he knocked out Aljamain Sterling, where he took out Petr Yan. I would actually say that this is lesser competition than he's faced the last couple of times inside the octagon. How can you keep from, I guess, overlooking that? And maybe the answer is simple enough. This is the one guy that beat him.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely my retort, is he's got the experience against Sean O'Malley. I think one of the things that you have to deal with Sean is, for this division in particular, he's got a lot of reach. He's a lot taller than a lot of bantamweights. And also he's tough to simulate, but Chito doesn't really have to simulate it. He's lived it. He's been in there. He knows what it takes. And I think the other thing that's going to be interesting with O'Malley, you know, speaking with our guy John Anik this week, just hobnobbing about the fights, he made a good point about, you know, Sean and his durability in some of these fights has to be called into question. You know, he has dealt with a lot of injuries. You know, 3 came to Anik's mind in the octagon. One of them that he went in with, that Aljamain Sterling fight, like he was saying, like, luckily I knocked him out, because if I had to grapple, I maybe not would have gotten through that fight. That has to cross your mind if this fight gets deep. Like, will Sean O'Malley be able to hold up in a war? We've seen it. I mean, he was able to do it in a Petr Yan fight to go the distance and dog out a win. But, you know, it is a question that you have to wonder with the young champ. Is his body made for this, or are there too many questions there?
He threw a million punches against Chris Moutinho also. That guy was more than game. Yeah, O'Malley's kind of weird because he's like the anti-Zion Williamson. Follow me here. When you see Zion, you're like, this isn't going to work. He can't dribble the ball down the court and dunk and shoot. And when he's on the court, he can. When you see O'Malley, you're like, this guy's not going to knock anybody out with that frame, and he does. Highlight knockoff. So I'm very curious a little bit later on in the show which way BT is going to bet the fight, if he's going to take the underdog, if he's going to bet the Sugar Show, if he says that it's going to be a finish, because I think I know how this fight's going down. That's coming up a little bit later. After you hear from Chito Vera, we will get you our method to the madness, how the fights are going to finish, and who's going to win. The co-main event, a banger too. Benoit Saint Denis is now a heavy favorite. Goodness, minus 225 against Dustin Poirier at plus 180. You're waving that one off. That one started off closer to a pick'em. Dustin Poirier, the diamond, to me, still pretty much at the top of his game. You can get 2-1 money on him. That's pretty tasty. It's weird to me that he even took this fight, though. I know he's in an interesting spot in his career where he's still good enough to fight for the belt, but I don't know if it's going to happen. But this guy, Benoit Saint Denis, has finished every fight in the first round, and nobody's heard of him. Why, if you're Dustin Poirier, do you even take this fight?
I mean, he's finished everybody that he's won. He's finished, but he's not undefeated. He has suffered the taste of defeat before, so it's not like he's this unstoppable force. And it's a big jump up in competition for him. I think that's the thing. This has been the year, and when I say year, I don't mean just 2024 for our listeners. I mean like the calendar year. This has been the year of the young guy knocking off the veteran, the proven guy. We have seen a lot of that. But there's still just a part of me with Dustin. He's such an animal. The guy's never lost back-to-back fights in the UFC. And he always seems, after a loss, to bounce back with something really, really impressive. You think back to the loss to Khabib, that fight against Dan Hooker, where Dan Hooker was kind of the young killer at that point, 28 years old, looked like he was going to finish Dustin Poirier in the first round of that fight. And Poirier dug deep and took him and dragged him into the deep waters and outslugged him in one of the fights of the year. And there's just a side of me that's just like, hey, as crazy as Benoit Saint Denis is with the special forces, I was watching Countdown, getting the goosies of seeing like, I protect presidents, good for him. But this is not special forces. This is the UFC. This is you're going in there with one of the best strikers that's ever been in there. And if this, he was saying this week, well, if you're a fan of Chandler, Benoit was saying this, if you're a fan of Chandler Poirier, you're going to be a fan of this fight. And to me, I was like, hey, man, that's not how you want to go about this. You don't want to get into a slugfest. You need to be like Justin Gaethje, break him down and try and finish him quick. Because if this goes past a round, I think Benoit's going to be in trouble, dude. I really do. I think he's going to be in a rude awakening because that is where Dustin Poirier, that is his playpen. That is where he loves to live, man. So I'm very fascinated by this, but I think the line is crazy. I cannot in good faith allow Dustin Poirier to pass at that number. I will not.
I know, dude. It's crazy to me that Dustin Poirier, if you told me he was a pick'em in this fight, I'd probably bet on the St. Denis side. The fact that you can get Dustin Poirier probably on fight night at close to 2-1, that's just a win. And we'll get you the methods how he's going to win later on in the show. But, dude, Dustin Poirier at 2-1 is awful tough to pass up. Also fighting down in his own backyard. Well, his new backyard. Speaking of fighting in his own backyard, your boy is on the card, and you're going to be there in Miami, 299. Gilbert Durinho Burns. Also, what? A plus 140 underdog right now at BetMGM versus Jack Della Magdalena, minus 165. Look, Jack's a tough guy to finish, but Gilbert Burns is a good guy to finish it.
Yeah, and it's like, this is another one where I'm looking at JDM, and I'm like, really nice fighter, but I don't know. His last fight against Kevin Holland, were you that impressed with him? I didn't. It was a very close fight. It was a good fight. But, I mean, Gilbert Burns, I just feel like, to me, this is one of those where, like, man, Gilbert's got a lot of ways where I feel like he can go win this fight against Jack. Jack, obviously, says that he wants to be very well-rounded, but he's known for his boxing. So, maybe he'll get the upper hand on a guy like Gilbert. But typically, as we've seen with Gilbert, the guys who really give him trouble are the guys who can grapple with him, the guys who can, dictate where the terms of the fight are. If Gilbert has that advantage on you, typically, that's a tough matchup for your opponent. When it's like,
Also, Gilbert's held his own against the grapplers recently. Like, think about what Hamzat was supposed to do to him. Then afterwards, I came away more impressed with Gilbert. So, yeah, to me, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it, and we'll get you the method of the madness. Gilbert should not be the underdog in this fight.
It's just, I think it's a question of age. And that's the big thing is, we are in a buzz era, just to let everybody, kind of understand. We're in a big era right now of young. He is 37. It's become very taboo to start gambling on fighters, especially in the lighter division. This is 170, so there's a little bit more wiggle room. But The older you get past that magic age of 35, people are getting very scared of going towards fighters. And I'm not here to tell you that JDM may not be the champion one day. All I'm here to tell you is I haven't seen it yet to dethrone a guy like Gilbert. And especially, again, just the value in some of this stuff. I feel like if you're telling me I get Gilbert Burns by sub and I can get it at like plus 400, I'm like, man, like JDM ever been in there with the likes of a boa constrictor like this guy? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to be fair to everybody here. This is a very hard card for me. I'm very biased on these two guys. They're maybe my Dustin Poirier, Gilbert Burns, maybe my two favorite people in the promotion right now because Robbie Lawler retired. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask about this stuff, but I'm just looking at them like, well, what are these numbers? What are we doing here?
Nobody tell Jorge Masvidal that you forgot him. Petr Yan and Song Yadong. Finally, we get there's a couple of fights on here that to me, the odds are perfect. Petr Yan versus Song Yadong, essentially a pick'em, and then Jailton Almeida and Curtis Blades, the big guys going at it, not with a lightsaber. That one is also close to a pick'em. What's your early thoughts about the Petr Yan? That's funny to say. The Yan Yadong fight.
I'm leaning Yadong to get the win just because we have not seen the invincible Petr Yan in a while. That guy feels very much like he has been on a downward trend lately. So I am actually surprised that Yadong and this line is very close. I feel like the way a lot of these lines are trending, I feel like with this one, he would have been a little bit more heavy of a favorite. So I like Yadong at that number.
Yadong is leaning. Is that what you're saying? Can we say that? You're leaning Yadong?
You can say that.
I said that. How about this one that nobody's talking about? Kevin Holland versus MVP. Feels like the wrong guy might be favored again. You get Michael Venom Page, steps in the octagon, the UFC octagon for the first time at plus 110. Although Kevin Holland's looked pretty nice recently.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to this in some methods. A lot of my parlay stuff is going to deal with this fight. And I'm a little scared of it because it is a kind of a coin flip. You have two guys that want to strike and they're not going to grapple. Kevin Holland's a very, very live wire in that. And he can be dangerous and he can finish you from the bottom. He can do whatever. But, man, I feel like the Page, like many guys you've been waiting to get into the UFC this excited for, I can't wait. And, just feels like he's been waiting for this moment a long time, Sean. And I feel like we could see something spectacular there with this guy.
I was watching MVP highlights the other day when I should have been working. And, yeah, I mean, his highlight reel is incredible. He can finish you. That's what I do. He can finish you in a bunch of different ways. This one kind of blends in toward the bottom of this main card. Like, this feels like it should be a main event for a fight night. The first time that we see Michael Venom Page, in Las Vegas or something like that. But, man, that's another great fight, even money. Kyler Phillips takes on Pedro Munoz. Jailton Almeida versus Curtis Blades. Again, no Star Wars stuff going on, but I think I'm going back to Almeida. We'll get you the method of the madness a little bit later on in the show. And then the final fight on the main card, Matisse Gamrot, a heavy favorite, minus 450. Against RDA at plus 340. Dude, they're just stacking this card for you guys down there in Miami. Now that we've gone through the whole main card, we're going to hear from Chito Vera coming up in a little bit, and then we'll get you the method of the madness. This is as good, on paper, this is as good of a card as we've seen, period.
I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what that building is going to be like. And it is interesting, Jake points out, and I didn't know this until today either. There is a ton of media from Ecuador here in Miami. Obviously, we are, kind of the international gateway to a lot of Latin American countries. And the reception he got, I don't know if you saw this, Sean, but the reception he got when he walked into a press conference room for all Ecuadorian media, I was like, what is the atmosphere? Is Sean going to get booed? Because the international things, when we have international baseball or soccer down here, they don't play when it comes to their country loyalty. And I would be very interested to see what the reception's going to be like for Chito.
Here's the thing. If Chito loses, it's going to be really easy to say he didn't deserve the fight. Because just, a year ago, he was getting his ass whooped all 5 rounds by Corey Sandhagen. If he wins, though, it's going to be really easy to say the first time around wasn't a fluke, and maybe this guy's almost as good, if not better, than Sean O'Malley. So this is one of those fights, depending on the outcome, that we're going to have a completely different view of both the guy that wins the fight and also, unfortunately, somebody's got to lose it. All right, speaking of losers, this show is being produced by Jake Noecker. Just messing with you, bro. That's Brendan Tobin. I'm the sports machine, Sean Levine. Coming up next, half of the main event joins us right here. Cheeto Vera on Tapped Out.
We're back with more Tapped Out with Brendan Tobin and Sean Levine on the BetQL Network.
Welcome back into Tapped Out here on the BetQL Network or wherever you're listening to us on the Odyssey app, YouTube, Twitch. Thanks for checking us on out. A huge fight week coming up down here in my part of the woods in South Florida. UFC 299. Old Uncle Dana has made this part of the annual trip, and this is one of the deepest cards out there. And for the main event, was driving down to the Heat Arena the other day for a little Heat and Pistons, and I see right up there, I see the billboard. You got Chito Vera, Sean O'Malley, the Grudge Mats taking each other on in a championship fight. And look, you can make the quibbles about, is Chito the guy that deserves this? One thing we know, this dude is a live wire. He can pull out some very, very exciting knockouts. And so got a chance to speak with Chito Vera in the lead up into this fight. We dove into a lot of things about the preparation for this fight, the last fight around, and some other things in the fight world. And so very excited to bring you guys this interview as he is sitting right now at about a 2-1 underdog in the lead up to this championship fight. There is a lot of coverage for Chito down here. He feels like one of the stars. Don't tell him that it's the Sugar Show. Chito Vera is looking to bring his own era over to the bantamweight division and take over. So here we go, our interview with Marlon Chito Vera as he gets ready for Sugar Sean O'Malley. All right, welcome back, everybody. Very excited to talk to our next guest. You know, we cannot wait to have UFC back here at the Kaseya Center, home of the Heat. It's going to be the home of the UFC coming up on March 9th. And this man is in the main event. He is fighting for the championship. Marlon Chito Vera joining us here on the show. Chito, thanks for the time, man. Really appreciate this.
Anytime, brother. Anytime. I'm excited. I'm excited to be in Miami and do my thing.
I look, Miami is a fun town, man. I remember when Adesanya won last year, he was ready to go party right after. Does Chito Vera already have celebration in mind for Magic City?
I like first things first. You know, I'm a guy that I like to keep it cool. I like to keep it real, and I want to kick ass first. And after that, bro, we can literally go outside a pizza place and drink some beer and have the best night ever. So I'm not a big club guy. I like home parties. I like to really have like a nice barbecue, good wine, eventually get face, but like home party style. I'm from Ecuador. We always party at home.
I bet. I do wonder though, man. Like, I don't know if you've seen recently, like the film of Ilia Topuria going back to Spain. Really, really cool. Do you picture that moment? Like, would you take the belt back to Ecuador, like that, and have some kind of a celebration like that? Would that mean something to you, or have you thought about what that would mean if you win the belt, bringing it anywhere and having a homecoming like that?
I mean, that will mean the world to me. Just flew back home with the belt. Like, without the belt, it's special to go back home. Last few times I've been in Ecuador, it's crazy, man. Like, sometimes I feel so grateful for my people, for the people of Ecuador specific, because the last few times I go back home, it's just as big as when these guys go back with a belt back home. Like, without even exaggerating the amount of love, like, just like there's nowhere to go. It's just boom, and that really fits me. That really gives me energy to go in there and represent my people. And now that I'm fortunate to fight for a world title, I'm gonna make it happen, and I'm gonna get it back to my people.
What is your confidence level going into this show? You know Sean, you've beaten Sean before. Do you find that the first matchup means a lot because you have that victory in your back pocket, or do you feel like you guys have gone and improved a lot over the time, and that this should be a completely different fight? What do you think of this being a rematch?
It's a little bit of both, but at the end of the day, it is a new fight. I would say I'm way more experienced. If you see my resume, I've been fighting world champions. I've been fighting top 5 guys. I walk the walk, man, and I'm gonna be so ready for this fight, mentally and physically. I really can't no way. I'm feeling good. My mind is in the right place. My spirits are high, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, your system of prep seems insane, dude. Like you got cold plunge. Were you like sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber? Like
All of that.
why all the extras? Like I don't, as fight prep, like are you just a guy who's always done this, no stone unturned? Because it looks insane what you put your body. Already you're fighting, that's nuts, Cheeto. But like you're already you're doing all this extra body prep that on top of the training.
Man, I'm all about health. I feel like a lot of people just go hard, 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 and there's not that extra step. I'm a guy that I cannot cheat. I'm not designed to cheat. I can't cheat. It's not in my DNA. Even if it's available, even if cheating will be legal, there's no testing. I can't do it. I like my body the way it was created, and I want to keep it like that. But there's a lot of natural stuff you can do. I got my eyes back, my plunge right behind me, my Morosco, my sauna right here. I already ordered a hyperbaric for my garage, and eventually I'm getting a CBAC machine, a red light therapy bed in my garage. It's all about wellness, and that give you an extra edge when you go to fighting. Why? Because your body is gonna be healthy, your brain is gonna heal. Think about it. We're sparring weekly, in or out of camp. You are sparring. You are going at full speed. You're taking blows here and there. Your body's taking wear and tear, and all those things help, man. And I get it. It's a full sacrifice. Heading to the place and do hyperbaric, doing CVAC, doing all these things take time. Takes hours of the day. You don't have to just train twice a day. Spend time with the family. Now it's night time. You gotta go and do your recovery. I mean, everything I do is for a win. I really put my whole entire soul into the sport because one day I'll be gone and I will miss it. But also, I I will know I did everything to get here and eventually become a world champion.
Talking to Marlon Cheeto Vera. He's going to be fighting the main event down here in Miami, UFC 299 at the Kaseya Center. Buy it on pay-per-view if you're not going to be in the building. It is going to be a hell of a scrap. Great card. You know, South Florida trains with Dustin Poirier on the card, Gilbert Burns, and, Cheeto Vera versus Sean O'Malley. It's a can't miss. I cannot wait to see this one. Cheeto, do you make any of the verbal back and forth you guys are probably going to get into next week? Are you excited for that? Are you excited to see Sean face to face? And what do you think that energy is going to be like between you two?
I just I just keep everything to myself. I'm not planning what I'm gonna say. I just keep it real. If I feel I wanna say you, go yourself, I let it go. If not, I'll be chilling. Like I'm not. I know this is part of being successful in the sport. You have to have a character, not a character. You have to have a personality. People without personality, they need a character. I'm cool, man. I'm gonna do my thing. I'm gonna be nice and ready. I'm gonna make sure I look good. But besides that, so businessman. My job is to hurt you. That's all. That's all in my mind. I'm not tripping about who's watching. I'm not thinking about the audience. I'm just thinking to do my job, and that's kicking ass.
I want to ask you about that because you do seem like just one of the realest guys in the sport. You also are one of the most vicious KO artists in the sport, and you do it in so many various fashions. Is there ever a moment Cheeto Vera feels bad when he does what he does to legends? Like you've had some crazy head, Frankie Yeager, Dominic Cruz. What goes through your mind? Because you got to feel proud, but like, man, I'm sure these are guys that you looked up to or saw the blueprint for. When you get wins like that against such legends in such vicious fashion, what goes through your mind?
Man, it's kind of like it's a up thing to do for living, but fighting is dark, man. I mean, fighting ain't cool. Like you don't wake up and fight them like, yeah, this is not like a game you play. This is not something that you just have to have skills and be a good athlete. You gotta get enough the minds and be like, I'm gonna kill this man because you're really fighting for your life. And some people get too methodical, like, oh, we gotta adjust time, we gotta adjust this, we gotta do. Once it goes a cage, you better be ready because, to me, I'm in the back of an alley and someone wanna hurt my family. There's no warm up, there's no preparation. You just gotta go, and fighting is serious, man. Fighting can change your life. You can win enough. You can lose enough. You can get hurt. You can get injured. You can get sick. You can get injured. 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 You can You can become a world champion and have a life-changing experience, or you can have brain damage and have a also life-changing, but for bad. Fighting is fighting is really heavy, man. Like you better be ready. You better want to do it.
Cheeto, is there a point leading up to the fight? Like, do you find yourself like going darker as the fight gets closer, or do you try and keep that away until it's like maybe fight week? When do you think the mode flips for you, or is it always in training?
No, this everything I talk for me, it's like fight night. When I'm walking to the cage, I let the switch go, and I'm like, I just know what I need to do, and I know how deep I can go. I can dig like a motherfucker. So I just know that, and I know, and it's not would say the secret, but like a big part of my success is like I'm okay knowing that something really bad can happen to me. Failure, it's available too. I mean, no one is invincible, and that really make me just fight harder. Like that just let me go to an extra gear, and I'm like I'm ready to go.
Some headlines made this week by boxing star Ryan Garcia. He supposedly is going to be octagon side. He wants to fight Sean O'Malley. I imagine you feel like you're going to win. Would that interest you at all? Do you have any interest in fighting a boxer coming into MMA like Ryan Garcia?
I mean, if I get paid, dude, I fight in Ghana, bro. I mean, for the right money, I fight anyone. But yeah, I definitely take a big money boxing fight. Why not?
If they were to come into the cage, though, because he was saying like, "Oh, I'll go do it in UFC." This is crazy talk for boxers. Like you would, I feel like one of those kicks that you land, Cheeto, like it's over.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, maybe probably the people around him is not the best people. I mean, you got to understand that you look silly. Like he say, I'm a natural. I just beat up my bodyguard. Fire your bodyguard. He's then. I mean, like, let's put it like this. I, my Jason Parillo is a real boxer. My coach, my head coach. He's been on the best boxing camps you can ever make. Johnny Tapia. He's been around the best of the best in boxing. I respect boxing. I don't think I can beat a world champion my size. It's impossible. I don't go and beat LeBron on his. I don't go and beat Kelly Slater on his. Tiger Woods. You don't beat a specialist on their stuff when you are in a different sport. I would love to train with these people and get because I love to box. I box real boxers all the time. That's why I'm good at throwing punches. But it's silly to think like, oh, like when Conor or Usman were calling out Canelo, I'm like, guys, you guys look silly. You don't work like that. But whatever, if you make the back, I'm proud of that. I'm like, go for the back. But it just don't happen like that. But a boxer coming to MMA, I don't feel I need to even to kick you hard. Just in case someone throw a big punch. If a big punch lands, you're out. I will just grab your head, dude. I will just snap you down, slap in the back of the head a few times and choke you out. Like they don't have that. They don't have that grappling ability of like just I would pull guard. I would jump. I would fly pull guard to you. What are you gonna do to me? Punch me in the air? It's just silly when they talk like that. When you say I'm a natural, I'm like, oh, you're a natural or what? You're a good boxer, but I guess it's all talk too. Like we're in times that everything is just talking. Yeah, yeah. It's just like, yeah, dude. If you put a mic on me, and I would say also, you Francis Ngannou will kick your ass. Sure, right?
It's all about the soundbite these this day and age, Cheeto. That's how
it is. I mean, TikTok the war, bro.
Before we get you out of here, man, and we can't wait to have you down here. UFC 299. First of all, when do you get down here? When is the plan? Do you arrive late this week? Do you get Monday. A fight week next Monday?
Next Monday, get there. Yeah.
When you picture this fight, you fought Sean before, but this time around in the prep, how do you imagine in your mind, anything can happen in a fight, but ideally, what have you pictured in how you're going to win this fight?
Sweat, blood, and tears, man. So many years of trying to achieve this moment, and now I'm here. So I visualize this almost my whole life, and I really see myself with that bell around my waist. So March 9th come to me, I'm gonna fight my ass off, and I'm gonna kick his ass.
Can't wait to watch the show, man. Cheeto, thanks for the time, man. We can't wait to welcome you down here to Miami, and appreciate you giving us some time this week.
Yes, sir.
We're back with more Tapped Out with Brendan Tobin and Sean Levine on the BetQL Network.
Saturday night is fight night. Welcome back into the show. Brendan Tobin and the sports machine, Sean Levine. Appreciate Chito Vera joining us. He'll be taking on Sean O'Malley in the main event coming up just a few minutes. We'll get you the method to the madness, who's going to win, how they're going to win, and when the fight is going to finish. But first, let's get to some other news and notes in the world of fighting. Ryan Garcia, dude, what is going on? So he has a fight coming up with Devin Haney. He's a big underdog. The press conferences were a little unique this week. What's going on with Ryan Garcia? Is he going to be ready for the fight?
Man, I don't know. I'm a little bit concerned. You know, sometimes you see this with some boxers and the people that are hanging around him. I mean, he looks like he is doing his best Oscar De La Hoya impression.
Doesn't he?
With everything that's going on. Like, he had something today where he signed a pact to himself, but he's gone off. He's had things where he was like, I was kidnapped at one point. He said he had his phone taken away. He got frozen out of his accounts. Nothing that seems like he is gearing up to fight one of the more skilled boxers on the planet. Now, look, Devin Haney is not, the most dangerous puncher in the world, but if your head's not right, this guy will use it like a ping pong ball for 12 rounds, and that's never good for anybody's health either. So, sucks to see. I think Ryan is, I hope this isn't, just another story of another fighter, being overblown by superstardom and the wrong people are there to support him. But yeah, it seems like he's going through some pretty gnarly stuff right now.
Overblown, pun intended. Just asking. I'm just asking if you put that out there in the ether. Jake Paul won. He's a boxer. Well, you tell me he's not in the first round. Did you actually watch it? Because you texted me, you were like, that fight was so. You did watch it.
Well, I had it in my parlay last week. I had my first round parlays, and I got greedy on Rosenstrike, who did win, but Jake Paul, because I had Rosenstrike first round KO and Jake Paul first round KO. I got the Jake Paul, but I did not get Rosenstrike. He did get the TKO just later. I mean, Jake Paul was taking on a tomato can, dude, and I don't really understand what the point of it is. He says he wants to venture towards the world. Like, he's calling out Canelo. Which, like, look, if he gets Canelo, good for him. He's not, but if he gets Canelo, great for him. But I don't understand this whole, trying to go back to pad up the record. Like, no one's going to take him seriously as a boxer. So why he is doing this whole deal of taking on guys with, padded up records, I don't really get it, but he steamrolled the fool. I mean, another first round knockout for Jake Paul. Good for him.
All right, let's keep talking some boxing because we got Francis Ngannou, Anthony Joshua this weekend. Last time we saw Francis Ngannou in a boxing ring, you and I both thought he didn't just look good, that he looked great. And in fact, we both think that he beat Tyson Fury. Now, I don't know if you've seen the new footage yet from Tyson Fury, but he looks shredded. Like, he looks like he took that fight not as seriously as maybe he should have, and he knows it. We're not talking Tyson Fury right now. We're talking Ngannou, Anthony Joshua. Is there any chance that Ngannou was really just that good of a boxer and maybe he gives Anthony Joshua all he wants or beats him? Because he's a huge underdog.
Yeah, he's plus 300 straight up right now. There's definitely look, he obviously has the puncher's chance. I don't think there's anybody in combat sports who hits harder than this guy. He made Tyson Fury not only hit the canvas, but he made Tyson Fury delay his title fight for months because of being in the ring with him. The thing I think just hurts him in this, Sean, there's a couple things. One, I don't think that Anthony Joshua is going to take this lightly. And two, AJ's looked really good his last couple of fights. So I do think he's going to have a more prepared fighter, a guy who takes this a little bit more seriously. However, AJ has been put out. He has been put down. Vladimir Klitschko, Andy Ruiz. So you can't rule it out. And so if you want Francis Ngannou, plus 400 by KO. If that wets your whistle for this weekend, maybe you go with it. But I lean AJ to get this one done.
I could use a wet whistle. All right, Jake Noecker, producer, joins us now. Time for Method to the Madness. UFC 299 from the 305. By the way, happy 305 day week to those who celebrate. Let's start at the bottom of the main card. Matisse Gamrot, a heavy favorite, BT, minus 450 against RDA at plus 340. How's this fight going down?
Yeah, probably one of the favorites that I actually agree with. I'm not. I just a little worried about RDA. We would talk about age. Like RDA is a guy I worry about a little bit. So I think Gamrot gets it done. I'm gonna say he gets it done by KO.
Jake,
what's RDA sitting at right now?
He's plus 325.
Plus 325.
Dude, I'm laying it down on RDA. I mean, it's just his style for me. It's the style and experience. He's so good at counter wrestling. That's all Gamrot does is wrestle. He's going to have a lot of success in the clinch against the cage. And just the vet, man. He's such an experienced fighter. He's looked okay recently. At that big of odds, I got to go with RDA.
Yeah, didn't we see RDA go toe-to-toe with Fiziev not too long ago? So, yeah, RDA to me, he's probably not going to win the fight. But like Jake said, sometimes you got to bet the value. Plus 325? Just to win straight up? I don't even need to give you a method. I'm not going to give you a method because I'm not going to bet it. I'm just going to take the heavy underdog and hope it hits. BG tells me a lot of dogs are barking on Saturday night. There's not an underdog in the next fight. Jailton Almeida versus Curtis Blades is as even as it gets, literally, both minus 110 right now at BetMGM. Where's your money going, BT?
I'm gonna go with Curtis Blades. I was actually kind of hoping that he'd be more of a dog in this one because but I think Almeida's last fight was just so uninspiring that I guess some of the shine has worn off him. But I like Curtis Blades if he's not taking on a huge knockout artist like Francis Ngannou. Guy has a lot of success. I think that Curtis Blades has a lot of tools. I think he's going to remind a lot of people something. So I'm gonna say Curtis Blades wins this fight. I'm gonna say he wins it by decision.
Jake, how's the fight going down?
I am on the opposite end. I think Jailton wins the fight. I don't think it should be as close as the odds suggest. I don't think the fight's going to be that close. But I like Jailton Almeida by knockout this weekend. I think it's going to happen early. He's known for his submissions, but I think he's catching that Curtis Blades chin.
That was my best Chewbacca. It wasn't great, but I got Jailton Almeida by Wookiee. I got Jailton Almeida. You know what?
What does that mean?
What'd you say? What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Wookiee?
By Wookiee?
You've never bet by Wookiee? According to me, it means it's going the distance. So I got Almeida on the cards. Kyler Phillips, Pedro Munoz. Don't need to take a ton of time on this fight. BT, where's your money going on that one?
I'll just go Munoz.
Jake.
I'm the same there.
I'm on Munoz too. We usually don't all three agree. It's only happened a few times in the history of this show. But one time we all said Robbie Lawler was going to knock the dude's ass out in his final fight, and he did, and we got paid. We were very happy. Kevin Holland versus – I have no idea what you guys are going to do for the rest of these, so I can't wait to hear it. So I might trail you on some of these bets. I've been going back and forth. BT, first, how are you betting Kevin Holland minus 135 against Michael Venom Page's first fight in the UFC?
Like I said, I have some bias to tonight, but when we're going to go to these top 4 fights, I like a lot of the underdogs just because I've built a very greedy parlay. And the first leg that I'm going to go with is MVP by knockout, which is right now plus 475. And I don't know, man. Something just tells me he's going to do something spectacular. And I don't know if it involves a Pokeball or if he's going to have some kind of Miami theme celebration. But MVP, I think, is a star we've all been itching for. I can't wait to see his debut. I think he's going to knock Kevin Holland out.
And that's just the first leg of this guy's parlay, plus 400. So I can't wait to see what our final number is. Jake, how's this fight going down?
This is a hard one to call. I mean, they're both very seemingly similar fighters. However, I'm going to do some MMA math here. I don't like the way Kevin Holland fought against Wonderboy Thompson. When you look at MVP and Wonderboy, they're very similar fighters in style. I think MVP edges this one out. And at plus 110, plus 115, whatever he's sitting at, I'm fine with that. I don't need to play a method. I'll just take the underdog MVP straight up.
I don't think there's this takedown clause that Kevin Holland had with Wonderboy as part of this fight. I'm going to trail BT on this one. I'm going to take MVP on the odds by knockout. Piotr Yang, Song Yadong. Quick, BT, how's this fight going down?
Not part of my parlay, but I am going to take Song Yadong to get the win. I'm going to say he wins by a decision.
Jake.
Same boat, Song Yadong by decision all day.
This is your Levine's lock, Song Yadong by decision as well. And I'm thinking that he's 3-0. Jack Della Magdalena minus 165 versus South Beach's Gilbert Dorino Burns, BT at plus 140.
All right, second leg of my dog parlay.
Okay.
Gilbert Burns by submission.
Love it.
Plus 400. Jack Della, you're getting in there with a boa constrictor. They may say that Gilbert Burns is old. I don't care, dude. You're swimming in different waters down here in South Florida. Gilbert's going to get a hero's welcome. He got booed last time because he was taking on Masvidal. Now he'll get a hero's welcome in South Florida. So I'm adding that to my underdog parlay. Gilbert Burns by sub plus 400.
Jake, you got Jack or Gil?
Gilbert's my boss now at home of fight, so I got Gilbert by first round, spinning back kick, whatever he wants to do to Jack.
Gilbert ain't my boss, but I love him, and I love him in this fight at plus 140. I'm with BT. Dude's a boa constrictor. He gets you back. It is over. I think he chokes him out in the second round. I got specific for you at 8-1. Co-main event, Benoit Saint Denis minus 225 BT against your boy Dustin Poirier at what? Plus 180.
Yeah, look, BSD, you got one round, dude. If you don't, you're in trouble. 5-round co-main event. Dustin Poirier is going to melt him in like round 4. TKO. And I'm adding that to my parlay too. That's plus 350.
This parlay is going to be huge at the end. Jake, how's this fight going down?
I'll give you a 2-for-1 here. Save some time. Sugar Sean O'Malley. And who's the co-main event? Why did I just slip my mind real quick?
Poirier, Saint Denis.
There we go. Yeah. BSD and Sean O'Malley parlay. Lock it.
Oh, so you're getting parlayed on a Saturday night. I'm taking Poirier. The money's too good. I'll take him by knockout. We got 1 minute left. Sean O'Malley versus Chito Vera in the main event, BT.
Look, I haven't loved the way that Chito Vera has fought lately. I think that Sean, if you're going by probably logic, momentum, I think Sean O'Malley's probably the logical pick. But I'm not here for logic. I'm here because Chito Vera's got a win over him already, and I love the story. I think he's going to nail one of them crazy head kicks. I'm just taking Chito straight up for the win to add to my underdog parlay, which has gotten very fat at this point. It's plus 41,000. Plus 41,000 if you got Chito by win, MVP by knockout, Dustin by knockout, and Gilbert by sub. You got yourself a cool plus 41,300. So, hey, we're just having some fun, baby. We're just having some fun. The dogs are barking tonight.
You have convinced me. I'm on it. That's the parlay I'm playing too. That's it for the show. Thanks to BT. Thanks to Jake. Thanks to Chito Vera. I'm the sports machine. It's fight night, baby. It's tapped out. BT, so I don't screw it up and make it confusing as far as here's Chito Vera and then it's your voice. Why don't you just do this?
That's fine with me.
Okay. I'll see you guys.
Alrighty. All right.